Welcome to Story Chats at Inspy Romance. I'm Elizabeth Madry, and I'm here with my two co-hosts.
I'm Narelle Atkins.
I'm Valerie Comer.
And Cooney is twitching. She's ready to go. Look at that tail go. She's like, Mom.
She used to be much more patient 6-8 months ago. Now she's like, what are we doing here again?
Again. You have fans, Cooney. You have fans.
Her tail's beautiful. Reminds me of a cat we had when I was a child who would not let me near it. It was a Persian, and it would sit down to have its dinner, and I'd be there ready to grab the tail. I was about 2 at the time.
Drove my mother she didn't nuts. Want you near her.
Surprise!
But it was a big fluffy tail like Cooney's. Yeah.
She just whacked herself in the ear with it.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. So today we are going to be chatting about the CCR that we've been reading recently, just for fun. So I love doing this episode because sometimes the themes get hard. And so this has no theme, just what have you been reading? So
we felt like finding this week.
Yeah. So I'm going to kick off with A Heart to Trust by Judith McNees. It is book 2 in her series. She only has the 1 series right now so far, and book 3 is recently out or coming very soon. It's on the horizon, so I'm excited about that one. This book is Grace Morgan, who is the sister. If you remember last month, I talked about the first book in the series.
Right.
And there is the rich family who is the sort of kingpin of the series. And so Grace Morgan is one of the children, and she works at the family company as well. But she has fairly crippling social anxiety. Which I thought was kind of fun for a heroine to have. And there's some reasons behind it. Fun. Yeah. Fun for someone not me to have. But she has some trauma from her past, some of it from her own bad decisions, and some of it just from circumstance. So because of this, she sort of has just isolated herself, and she has basically an emotional support dog that it's never called that, but she spends a lot of time babying this dog. But she has sort of a crush on Tyler, who is a new hire at the company. But Tyler also has some secrets that he is hiding. So but it's really fun. It's cute how they figure out the secrets, and their meet cute is very adorable, involving the dog. And she thinks that Tyler is sort of stalking her, but it turns out that he's renting the apartment like across the hall from her. And so, because they have this little altercation at the beach, and she sort of storms off, and she gets in the elevator, and he comes in, and she's like, what is this? So then she gets off, and she's like, why are you following me? And he's like turning to unlock his door. And, so that was
Remind us what their family company is again. I have book 1 on my Kindle, but it is not in this week's recent reads. Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, if it's clearly stated, I don't remember.
Okay.
But I feel like it also may just be sort of vague company kind of thing. They have a shipping department, and they have an accounting department, and they have all the departments that a company should have. But I'm trying to think if it's said, it's not such a big deal that it matters to anything.
Okay.
It's just a big company. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So that is my first one, and I really enjoyed it. It was a great follow-on to the first one. Bye, Coon. And I'm looking forward to book 3. So
cool.
book 3
sounds good.
Yeah, book 3 is going to be.
Looking forward to getting started.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in the next couple of weeks either, but maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. Valerie, what you got?
My first one is one that I've had on my Kindle for a while. I was flicking through it looking for something to jump out at me, and this one did, and it's called Dance Over Me by Candee, Fick. And Candee and I were roommates at an ACFW conference many years ago, so I've kept a bit of an eye on her, and I was excited to see that she has some books out. And this is a series of, I don't know how many, 5, I think 5. And they all center around a dinner theater company.
Ooh, fun.
So, and this is in Colorado, Fort Collins, Colorado. So she, the heroine, Danny, auditions for a part in this particular dinner theater because she thinks that her long lost brother lives there. Her parents were killed in an accident when she was 6 and her brother was a baby. And because she was 6, nobody listened to her. And she finally demanded her brother, and they took her to the house only to find out that he had just been adopted by somebody because he is a baby. So
Yeah.
very attractive. And so she's been looking for her brother for 25 years, whatever, a long time. And so that's definitely a thread. She's hunting for her brother, and that's why she's there. But meanwhile, there's very strong Christian themes in it. There's a lot about the world of dinner theater, which I've never really stopped and thought about before. So I have no idea if it's all accurate or not. But in this setting, the pieces all work together. And Danny falls for the son of the company owners, Alex. So that makes her a bit of a target from some of the other girls who are jealous. So that's kind of a bit of a problem, actually, because I don't love mean girl stories. Yeah. And there is a mean girl. Her co-star Gloria is just super duper spiteful, and they're put in the same apartment because that's where all the people live if they don't have their own place, and with a couple of other girls. And so some of that kind of just over the top nasty I felt like I could kind of do without it. And yet I see how it all fit into the story as well. So it wasn't there just because, hey, I thought I'd write a mean girl today. But the writing, the setting was really strong and really pulled me in, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. I have to wait and see if I liked it well enough to read book 3, which is the mean girl story. So I don't know.
Oh, so she has her own story, the girl that's really mean.
She does. And next week I'm going to talk a little bit about book 2. But yeah, looking ahead, I'm like, ooh, I'm not really sure about
Gloria's story. Sure.
That
sounds really fun. I love going to dinner theater. So so
this is a lot of background stuff and how they're doing like a different play for like 2-3 months, and then it switches and the menu switches and everything switches, and they're auditioning like after this play is only like been running for 2 weeks, but they're auditioning for the next one, and they're starting rehearsals while they're still doing this one, and it's fascinating, and Candee's writing is strong. So I found that I wasn't bogged down. Sometimes you feel like there's way too much info dump or way too meandering of sentences, and you're like, I don't actually care. Tell me the story, and this one is well told.
Excellent. All right, Narelle only has 1 today, so I'm going to go next, and then Valerie will go again, and then we'll get to Narelle.
Yes.
So my second one is Honor Bound by Hallee Bridgeman, and I'm cheating a little tiny bit because it might qualify as romantic suspense, but honestly, I really honestly would more call it military romance. It's very low, like way low on the suspense. You never are guessing who is doing anything or what's going, like it's not like, I really truly believe that Valerie would be able to read this at night. I really do.
Well, we would see about that.
And apparently I'm not always a good gauge for that, but I did not find this suspenseful, but it was really fantastic military suspense. It is Rick Norton. He is a leader of a special forces team that has been deployed to stabilize a country in Africa that's having some political turmoil. And Cynthia Myers has sort of run off to do mission work. She's an OB, and she's run off to do mission work in Africa in the same country. I don't think they named the country.
Probably safe.
I think it's probably a fictional African country kind of thing. So it is a country in Africa with an unstable political situation, which is legit. So, but it's not a specific one. But she's there, going sort of from village to village as a midwife / OB, helping do prenatal care and checkups and deliver babies, because that was what she was doing in the United States before there was a big scandal. Her father is a politician, and her fiance jilted her very publicly and horribly. So she sort of run away to do this. Anyway, she becomes part of the mission to be extracted when it turns out that her identity has been revealed to the not official government party. So, the people who are trying to overthrow. And so now she's got a target on her back because her father is a politician. And so, but she doesn't want to leave. So that's she's very, almost, well, I would say she's a pacifist to a very high degree. And so she really does not appreciate the fact that Rick is violent for a living, effectively.
Okay.
Right. And more so that he really does see it and live as though the military is his calling. And I thought Hallee did just a really beautiful job of showing how those two different opinions can coexist. And then also just what the rationalization behind each one is, why it's okay to be a believer and serve in the military, why it's okay to be a believer and not believe that military force is an option. It's got some really thought-provoking undertones in addition to just a really good story. I was very, very pleased with it, and I will read the other two.
Which is really the proof of the pudding, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you want to go on and read more, then
And I also appreciated these are traditionally published, but they're in Kindle Unlimited, which makes me happy. So
I've got this one in my TBR.
Yeah,
I need to bump it up.
It's really good. It's really, really good. I was I had fairly high expectations because Hallee is a fantastic writer, but she exceeded my very high expectations. So
there you go.
Excellent.
Yeah. What you got, Valerie? What's your next one?
My second one is Forgive and Remember by Robin Merrill. This was another one that could have been really suspenseful. There are scenarios in it that could have lent themselves to that. Shelby moved to Hartport, Maine to be a kindergarten teacher at a Freedom Academy, a Christian school. But someone has it in for that Christian school and is sending threatening letters. And Lincoln is the hero, and he has a security company, and he has a daughter who is, cue the trumpets, 5 years old. We know how I love 5-year-olds. She's in kindergarten, so she's in Shelby's class. So because the school where his daughter is being threatened and nobody seems to know what to do about it, Lincoln is like, let me take care of that. And so he, puts his security details on it and stuff. And meanwhile, he's getting to know his daughter's kindergarten teacher. So, so that was pretty fun because, he's obviously going to do anything to protect his daughter, and his daughter is clinging to the teacher. So while there is this situation at the school, and the threats are real, and you read the words on the notes and stuff, it isn't overtly suspenseful. It's really focused on Lincoln and Shelby and Lincoln's little girl Charlotte, and I really quite enjoyed it. I don't know if either of you have read anything by Robin Merrill.
I've read that one. And that one, I enjoyed that one quite a lot. It was very, very good. And I agree, not suspenseful, which is not a bad thing. It didn't need to be suspenseful. It's a very good story. I enjoyed it a lot.
The suspense was there. It was part of the meet cute. It was part of the foundation for the story, but it wasn't overtly now we should all run and hide.
Yeah, it wasn't scary.
Because there's bullets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sounds
But it's-
good.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's great.
add it to your list, Narelle, because I know your list is just about out. You've
Tiny.
got one, two
Oh,
books maybe on your
well-
PBR now.
Well, I thought I had two. And the one I'm going to talk about, I've only half read because I thought I had another one, but of course I don't have another one. So the one I started reading is it. So with the one I'm going to talk about is The Brickhouse Cafe by Carla Laureano. So on Valentine's Day, she sent out an email to all her newsletter subscribers saying, hey, I've got a new series coming. Here's a novella. Go download it for free and read it. And so, of course, I went and downloaded it so I wouldn't forget to download it. And then I checked it, went into my Kindle app and did all the things you're meant to do. And it did. And then I started reading it when I didn't have time to be reading. And then, of course, I had to stop reading when I didn't want to be stopping reading. So there's a bit of a story behind all this. But anyway, it's a really fun story. We're back in Colorado near Denver in the mountains. And the cover reminds me a bit of Provenance as well. So it's got, I think we're heading more sort of back into when she did the supper club stories as well. We're back in that setting. And Haven Ridge is the series name, and that's the place where the story is going to be. And we start off with Valerie, who is a travel writer, and she effectively is homeless. She broke up with her boyfriend, and for a whole thing that was in, is it Boise, Idaho? Have I said that right?
Boise.
I can never get that. I can never say that correctly. Boise.
It's Boise. Yeah, just think of the most not French way to say something, and that's how the Americans say it most of the time.
Boys.
Okay.
Boise.
Boys. All right. So she was in Idaho, originally from Washington State. And so she's effectively on the road with all her stuff, trying to make a living doing journalism. And so she's got this gig to do this story in a town. And she's in the mountains, and I so identify with this. Her GPS just isn't working and is lagging. And you know how you're driving in the mountains and the GPS is like 5 minutes behind you and it's telling you to turn, but there's no turn because you've already passed the turn. And so we start with all this chaos going on, trying to find this town. And she ends up turning and discovering the wrong town, and she walks into this diner, and there's this drop dead gorgeous guy who is running the cafe diner place, and he just doesn't give her the time of day and barely looks at her. And of course that just intrigues her, because it's like, do I really look that bad? Am I really worth nothing? Because she's had all this baggage and history from being treated badly in her past. And so anyway, she lands at this diner, but it turns out that his grandmother is the great-granddaughter of the founder of the town. And so there's some history behind the lady who founded the town. And so that's where she's sort of heading in terms of thinking, well, maybe I can do a travel article here because, you know, now my car's broken down. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck here. Oh, and my B&B booking in the town I was meant to be at is for next month and not this month. And yes, it's a whole thing. So she ends up staying there. And as I said, I haven't finished it, but I'm really enjoying it. Now, I don't actually know if it's Christian, if it's CCR, or if it's Sweet Clean. So I apologize for not being able to clarify that, but it is Carla Laureano. So it doesn't really matter in a sense from my perspective, because it'll be a great story. So I'm looking forward to finishing this one and having a look at this new series, because I do like her books that are set in Colorado.
That sounds like some overlap in themes with Provenance, right? Because that too is like digging back into the town's history and what the original settlers had envisioned for the area and stuff. So yeah.
I feel like I remember seeing on her Instagram that this series was going to be sweet, not necessarily specifically Christian. So so if this is the sort of prequel for that, I would assume that you know, it probably tends more sweet than super faith based. But knowing Carla, it will at least be from a Christian worldview. You know, it's not going to be.
It won't be sketchy.
It's not going to be weird.
It won't be sketchy.
Well, she hooked me in when I should not have been reading.
Excellent.
Like I did not have time to read. I should not have been doing it, and I couldn't stop reading. There you go. So I think you can't get a much better recommendation from that when someone is. I need to leave my phone and not look at this, but no, I need to know what happens.
Excellent. right. Well, I have a third one and we have some time. Can I talk
Look
about it?
at you. You're like overly exceeding here
I
today.
am an overachiever today. But it makes up for Narelle only having one. So it worked
It does.
out.
I am the consistent underachiever, and that is okay. I can deal with that. I apologize.
So I have Oatcakes, Tea, and Me by Ruth Kyser. And it's adorable. It is older main characters or mature main characters. They're probably in their 60s. They're not, they're not decrepit.
Thank you for not thinking that decrepit.
They're not decrepit. So Anne is a widow, and she'd been raising her grandson, and I don't remember if that was explained why. Doesn't matter if it did explain it. I forgot it, but the stories, it doesn't hinge on it. Anyway, he just got married and moved away. And so now she's sort of as at loose ends in the little hometown, and she has friends there and stuff, but her husband is gone and now her grandson is moving on with his life as he should be. And she appreciates that. She's like, this is what's supposed to happen. But she's also just kind of figuring out, where does my life go from here? And so the new granddaughter-in-law had been born in Scotland. So her grandfather is in Scotland in the little town where she was born. And he falls and breaks his leg. I think it's his leg. So they decide to go help him out. Down the road. They're married now. They're going to go help him out. And they say, why don't you come too? And come, take a vacation, come to Scotland. You would love it. You're lonely and you miss us, kind of thing. And so she's like, all right, fine. She'll go. And then it's one of those situations where you're like only in a book. But it was done so well that I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. It was cute and adorable.
And what was it?
Well, I don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin it.
Oh, come on. A little hint.
I will warn you that if you don't like those only in a book coincidence situations, this is not the book for you. But to me, it was well written. It was super enjoyable. I got to go to Scotland. The
airfare.
Yeah, it was so, and it was well done. It wasn't like, oh, of course, so to me it was worth it, and it was cute, and it ends up with her getting a new love later in life in Scotland. So you get an accent.
Sounds like it's hard to go wrong with that.
Right.
I feel as an author that I can throw in one really good coincidence.
Yeah.
This, you kind of have to have room for one and maybe a second minor one, but after that you're treading pretty careful, unless the whole book is titled Coincidences, Oatcakes, Tea, and Me. Yeah,
a series of unfortunate events.
Something like
no. So
yeah,
this one is bigger than I would ever throw in. Like it's pretty big. You got to suspend your disbelief, but it really was so well done. It was really well written. It was really cute. So
her husband's long lost cousin. No.
But I think if they're done well, like if the characters are motivated for everything else around this particular coincidence, and when it comes up, it's like the missing jigsaw puzzle piece in the story. I think readers go with that.
Yeah.
Even if it would never happen in real life, I think you can. We read fantasy and you read other genres, and that could never happen in real life. Yeah.
Really? What do you mean? I found a ring in a pond the other day and had to go across, orc land to throw it in a volcano. What do you mean?
Only you.
Yeah, only me. That's why I was late today.
And what's his face?
Yeah, Frodo. So that's it. Do you have anyone else? No one else had another. Valerie?
No, that was it for me. Yeah, I mean, I've read a little bit more than that, but that's what I made notes on and what stuck out to me. So
Well, you got to save them because we're going to do this again next month. So, you know,
I'll have read all new books by then. Mostly. Some.
Mostly. So we would love to know what you have been reading lately. Drop us a note in the comments on our YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. And if you've read any of the ones we talked about, let us know what you thought about them. I know, I think it was Carol Dyer asked if I was going to talk about Heart to Trust, the second book of Judith's. So I did. Here it is. And if it wasn't Carol, whoever commented asking about it, I meant to write that down and I didn't. So if you're over on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. And we will look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, don't forget to fall in love with a good book. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.